Cheers, welcome to my channel. This is a bonus full moon lunar eclipse for the month of March tarot oracle reading. And Capricorn, you are the star of this astrological insight. If your sun sign isn't Capricorn, we still all have a little bit of Capricorn in us. If you do have your birth chart, which house is Capricorn in? That's where this energy shows up for you. My goal is to provide valuable information to empower you. Keep in mind, this is a general or collective reading. Parts of it may or may not resonate with you. Also, this is a timely reading, meaning if you're watching it at this time, it is the perfect time for you. Having said that, if it's been a while since I posted this, what was going on in your life back then? It could give you further clarity as to your situation now. We're going to begin the tarot part of the reading with the underlying energy from the bottom of the deck. So this is the energy for the entire reading. And we have justice. So this reading is someone in Capricorn land is wanting justice. So this justice card represents, the justice coming in from the spiritual realm as well as the physical. So this veil between the two worlds is represented here. The spiritual realm and the physical. This can also be redemption from karma. A lot of people feel that karma is punishment, but karma is actually cause and effect of your actions. So it's, or inactions. And so it's not so much a punishment unless what you were doing, unless your actions require, it's just putting things back in order basically. So the justice is, she's got her sword wielded in her right hand, and you can see she's about to wield that sword because she has the right foot moving forward. This is the masculine energy, and her toe is peeking out from underneath the robe. So that's the underlying energy. And then for the what internal forces, we have the Five of Swords. The Five of Swords has been coming up a lot in a lot of these readings, and I feel it's because basically the energy we're in, a lot, we had the Epstein file releases, and now we're like in a situation with Iran. So we are, it's kind of like a cutthroat energy. It's like doing anything to win kind of energy. And there's just a lot of information out there that's pretty wild. And, we're all having to kind of absorb this and deal with it. This is talking about someone that will do anything, like wants to win at all costs. And this energy, he's fought off two other people here, and it's representing that energy. But this also sometimes can be talking about a battle within yourself. And so this can be talking about the subconscious, unconscious, and the conscious mind fighting with each other about what to do about a situation. The figure in the back here could be the subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind is formed by the time you're 6 or 7 years of age. And your subconscious mind is really the thoughts of other people who raised you and your environment. Because if you think back, you don't really remember very much of that time before probably kindergarten age. And especially when you're a baby. Yet when you're a baby, especially in that first year, you think about everything that a baby learns to do. Your environment, a baby is like a sponge and just sucks it up. So the energy is really the thoughts of the people that raised you and that were in charge of your care. And so this is heavily imprinted on us. And when we get triggered, we have a tendency to use our subconscious mind. Then we have the unconscious mind, that is the needs of the soul. And a lot of people will say, I'm a human being and I have a soul, but it would be much more accurate to say that you are a soul that's traveling in a human body, and this is your vehicle for navigating around the earth. Your soul has needs that are just as strong as your physical needs, and if those needs aren't met, the unconscious mind will start getting louder and louder. And then we have the conscious mind. The conscious mind is the one that you have a handle on. This is the actions that you've taken or inactions that you've taken that are, in your experience, in your memory. And so this is talking about, when these three minds are arguing with each other and they're not congruent, then we get kind of in this kind of energy. When these three, the subconscious, unconscious, and conscious mind, are congruent, working with each other, and also plugged into our heart, that's when we're following our authentic heart desires. So this is like, it could be both. It could be a struggle with people from outside as well as a struggle within about how to deal with it. So internal forces are the what ifs of life. When we're struggling with the internal forces, we can tell because we'll be asking questions like, what if this happens? Like, if they do that, what if I do this? Is that going to change the situation? What if they do that? Then what if I do this? Then what's going to happen? That kind of energy. And it can really get you into a thinking loop. We have this energy here of the Knight of Swords. So the Knight of Swords, the Knights would work for the King and Queen. And they would deliver messages far and wide to other kingdoms and then bring the answer back. And, you know, they would protect the kingdom and the palace, etc. The Knight of Swords, each of them has their own element, and the Knight of Swords represents this thinking energy. And this Knight of Swords, you can see that either he's running away from this situation or he's running to something. And he might be running towards towards this information may be coming into you about this situation. So the energy of the Knights represents information coming in. The thing about the Knight of Swords is you can see that he's in a hurry, and we only can see half his sword, and we can't see the point. So I feel like this is about half the information. Like he doesn't necessarily have the full story. And this card can sometimes represent the energy of fools rushing in. And sometimes it can even represent hiring someone to get information, and this is all the information that they could get. We have the energy of, you know, this horse is traveling through barren land, and they're running against the wind. You can see the horse is stressed out. Now, we just on January or February 17th, we moved into the Chinese year of the fiery horse energy. And the fiery horse energy is very free-spirited, and it wants us to set high achievement goals. It is very passionate in matters of love and heartfelt. But the danger of this energy is if we get into like a hurry. If you think about a horse, when a horse gets spooked and runs, that's the energy you do not want to be in with this energy. It can be very impulsive. And the thing is, if a horse gets running like that, all you can do is hang on until it stops, basically, and hope that you don't get hurt on the journey. And this energy is exactly like that, this impulsive energy, and, you know, running against the wind kind of energy, having half the facts, and, you know, reacting emotionally. That kind of energy is not beneficial at this time. And also, this can represent someone that is really burnt out, that has been, you know, working really hard, and whoops. Okay. That's my cat, Stella. She was asleep in the other room, and I thought I might sneak out here without her hearing me, but you're here. She says her job is to purr. A cat's purr raises the vibration. And she's like, okay, I'm late for work, but I'm here. She's got happy feet now, so we're in good pause. She's starting to purr. You might not be able to hear her because I have a noise canceling mic on, but trust me, she's got a pretty loud purr. All right, so we have this energy here of some sort of information coming in. Now, of course, these days the information could be a phone call, it could be an email, a letter coming in the mail. It could be a text, you know, you could be watching social media and someone could message you, or you go to an event that's posted there and you end up bumping into someone and they tell you something. It can also be your own thoughts coming in. So, because that's what the swords represent, is our thoughts. And this is talking about a situation of love. So Capricorn, it's like you have your eye on someone. This is the Page of Cups is like a younger version. The pages are a younger version of the King and Queen. They would work from about 7 to 14 in the royal palace. And they would generally come from families in the outlying area that are higher society, that you know, they would apprentice at the palace and run messages in between the palace walls, as well as maybe doing small tasks. And then when they grew up, if they were still there and they were doing a good job and they had enough money to buy a horse, they might be considered for knighthood. So this energy here is, this page is also about communication, and he understands that there's plenty of fish in the sea, but he is very focused on this fish. So this is talking about someone maybe has their eye on you, or you have your eye on someone and you're wanting to ask them out for a date, or you know, something like that. And again, the energy can be many ways, you know, or the information can come in many ways. Sometimes it could still come in person, but quite often it might just be a phone call or a text or that kind of energy. We have the Magician, and the Magician is an energetic upgrade that comes in for the Fool when he's on his journey. So the Fool starts off at the 0 point to begin a new cycle, a new journey, and the Magician is card number 1 in the deck. It doesn't necessarily show up first like this, but sometimes, but it is the first card presented. And this is as above, so below. And, you know, this is the Magician is pointing with his wand to what was coming from heaven and bringing it down to earth. And this is, you can create a garden on earth, and here are the tools on your bench. You have infinite potential to the power of infinity and beyond. And this table here is, the bench has, you know, the cup, the pentacle, the sword, and the wand. So this is the energy that you have to work with to create a garden on earth. We have the energy of, this is the 10 of Wands. So the wands in tarot represent fire, the element of fire, and they represent actions taken or actions not taken. This is an energy of, he is carrying this harvest and trying to get it home here. He is really, it's heavy, and he's doing his best to get there. He can't even see how close he is to home, but he almost looks like he's going to give up. And it's like he can't see the forest because of the trees. You know, he's so wrapped up in the details. How am I going to get it like here, and what can I do? And he thinks there's got to be a better way, and because he thinks so, there probably is. And quite often, like these wands represent actions that we've taken or other people have taken that we have embraced, that we are carrying. And so quite often this can be talking about carrying burdens of other people, and it's time to put them down. And it can also be talking about burdens that we're carrying that are our own, that it's time to put down. So for example, I'll give you an example of this. If you purchase a house and you buy it and you love it and you live in it for 5 years, but now you have a major change happening in your life and an opportunity comes up and you would like to sell that house and move to a different city or a different, you know, area, and you have to wait till you sell your house, but the market is soft, and now you have, you know, you're kind of having to put your plans on hold until you can sell it. Then that asset now becomes a burden. And so that's the kind of energy. It doesn't necessarily mean that it doesn't have value, but it's not working for you anymore, so it's time to put it down. Sometimes it can actually be an action that you took that was really a disaster, and just put it down. You don't need to keep carrying it. He's so close to home. Definitely, if it's other people's burdens, let them carry their own burdens, and you need to put them down. We have the Empress coming in. So the energy of the Empress is all 4 queens rolled into one person. So the Empress is, you know, this wheat at her feet represents the energy that she puts into things. So she plans, you know, to plant her crop. She decides where she's going to plant it, which field. She makes sure that it's, you know, prepared properly, puts the seed in, and then she waits for nature to do its work. After she's done her part, she doesn't worry about it. She just has faith that that nature will take its course and grow this wheat for her. And so she's considered to be very like a magnet for attracting shift, basically. And she is sometimes considered pregnant with possibility. So she sometimes actually is pregnant with a child. When this energy comes up, it could represent that. She has the qualities of like the Queen of Wands, which is, you know, being a natural beauty and sexy and someone that has creative solutions. She has the discernment of the Queen of Swords. She's been there, done that, has the t-shirt and doesn't put up with bullshit. She has the qualities of the Queen of Pentacles, who's very resourceful and prefers quality over quantity in her work and in her life in general, living a really good lifestyle. And also she has a lot of love and the capacity for unconditional love. So this is someone that is, the Empress in Tarot represents someone who has done a lot of inner work and is also had a lot of enough life experience to be able to embody all of these qualities. And then we have the Hangman. So the Hangman is hanging from the tree of knowledge and waiting to really get a good perspective on what's going on before taking action. So he hangs upside down so he can gain a perspective totally different from the one he already has. And when his aura lights up, that's when we know, okay, he's ready to take action and come down. This is a card of balance. Now, you notice the difference in the energies here. This is the energy you want to be in for the year of the horse energy right now. It's, you know, there's right now on the planet, there's a lot of information coming out with the files, and now we have a lot of information about Iran and what's happening with the United States and Iran and that whole situation. And we need to take a deep breath and make sure that we have our facts straight before we get, you know, all freaked out and start tweeting all over the place, you know. It just adds more fuel to the fire. So this is talking about your identity and self-image right now. So you're in a position where you really need this information to come in so that you can make a choice here and make a decision. You are, someone is either, this can be about your abundance and your self-worth. Now sometimes this card can represent, you know, it can represent someone wanting to ask you out or you wanting to ask someone out, but it also can represent that you think there's something fishy in your love life and going on, and perhaps you've hired someone to look into the situation and you're waiting for that information to come back to you because you feel like, hey, there's something not right here. Your intuition is telling you something's not quite right. This is communication from your early life. So this is talking about you're used to being able to manifest like this, like the Empress. And so the communication, it feels like, is out askew. Like you feel like there's maybe something that you're not hearing about. Your partner maybe is acting weird, that kind of energy. And this is talking about your emotional foundation. So it's kind of saying that when it comes to partnerships and relationships that are like in your inner circle, that it can be really heavy. Maybe in your past you've had, or growing up, you were raised by parents that fought a lot. And that's this kind of energy here. And it's kind of like, you know, not wanting to be the same old way that your parents are, but finding that you're ending up in a situation very similar. You notice these jagged clouds. There's these jagged clouds here as well. It's almost like the sword is cutting through the sky, you know. Cutting words, cutting thoughts, you know, that kind of cutthroat energy. And then we have, this is your creativity, romance, and children. And this is your ideal position. This is where you want to be. You want to have a romantic partner. You want to feel stable enough to be able to have children with them and be able to count on that. This is talking about your daily habit, routines, and that. And it's like you're going inward right now to be able to figure out, okay, something's bothering you here regarding your relationship, it feels like. And then we have, you're thinking about walking away. And okay, so now I'm just going to show you something here with this card. This is saying quite a bit. Like there's 8 cups of here, and there's 10 cups in total in the tarot. So when there's 8 cups, that's quite a lot of energy. It could represent 8 years of being with someone that, you know, that your partner. And quite often, when this card comes up, you see these, it's going along fine for 5 years, but then we have these 2 cups and a space in between in this cup. Sometimes this can represent an energy of there being a third party involvement in the relationship, and that you're walking away or your partner's walking away from the relationship because of it. It doesn't have to be that, but quite often it is. This is a card saying, I am done. I am not doing this anymore. I'm finished. That kind of energy. And this energy, because it's coming from the external forces, this is the underlying energy of the external forces. So the external forces, you can tell it's an external force, because instead of asking, what if I do this or what if I do that, you're more asking what the EF happened. And that's what I feel like this energy here is representing, and here. And you want justice. You want to know the truth. You want to know what's going on. And that's the energy. I feel like the energy is you wondering what your partner has been up to, basically. And we have the moon here is representing the new moon that we just had and the full moon coming up. So that's what I want to talk about in this reading, is get into a little bit of this energy right now, because now it's showing up. We already talked about the new moon on the 17th coming in, and that it was also the Chinese New Year in the year of the horse. Now it's also that this moon was in the sign of Aquarius. And Aquarius is about the group. It's about looking after the needs of the group, the family, you know, your business, that kind of energy before you look after yourself. That's the kind of energy it is. That's your main priority. And Aquarius is exactly opposite on the horoscope wheel from Leo. So the energy of Leo is talking about, I'm a leader and I want to lead the group. Having said that, I need to look after my own needs right now, and that's kind of the energy you're in. I need to figure out what's happening in my personal life here before I put my energy out there with anyone else, and I need to express myself. And so Leo and Aquarius have been arguing back and forth like this at the beginning of the month. On the 1st of February, we had a full moon in Leo, and Aquarius was opposing it. So this has been going on since the beginning of February, and now we're moving into a full moon. Okay, so that's on the 17th. There's one other thing. There's an eclipse on the 17th on top of everything else. So it's the Chinese New Year, and we're in this Aquarius energy. But we're opposed, like we're really feeling like right now we need to look after ourselves, and it's kind of bucking the energy. And then we also have an eclipse coming up. And so on the same day, and the eclipse is actually a lunar eclipse, which means for a short period of time the moon is blocking out the sun. And this energy is talking about like the hidden secrets in that not being totally revealed, because the moon is ruling kind of over the sun, shining light on it. And so this eclipse season, that this is the very first eclipse of 2026. Now we are moving forward to March 3rd, which is tomorrow. We have the full moon in the energy of, it's in the sign of Virgo. And this is talking about wanting to clean up your domestic life, putting things in order, making sure things are clean, getting ready. Like if you're trying to sell a house, making sure that you have everything done. It's income tax season. Make sure that the paperwork is done. You know, it's a lot of Virgo is very good at analytical critique, knowing what you need to do to get things in order. And then also cleanliness is next to godliness. So it's just getting everything ready for when the energy shifts. Now, the full moon is in that sign of Virgo, and it's opposed by Pisces, which is directly opposite on the scale. And so this energy also has an eclipse attached to it. And this eclipse is, it's lunar eclipse. So this time the sun is shining light on the situation, like your domestic environment, basically. And so this is the energy that we're coming into right now. Generally, with the new moon and the full moon, you'll feel the energy 3 days before and 3 days after. The thing is about eclipses, they have a tendency to have a subtle effect for like a long period, kind of like a slow drip. It's like over a 6-month period, you'll notice the change from this eclipse coming through. And usually, and quite often, it's a profound change. And I'll talk about that some more. I want to get some more information from the cards. But this is basically the energy that we're in. And a lot of the readings that I've done up to this point have been really dealing with this kind of energy. So Capricorn, this is like just kind of the way the energy is right now. This is the underlying energy for the external forces. This card has come up probably 4 or 5 times here since I began doing these readings, and I've only got yours and 2 others to go, and then I'm complete with them. And we have, on top of it, I just want to mention this because it's an important factor as well. The reason why you don't want to be in this energy is we on February 26th, we moved into Mercury retrograde. So Mercury rules Virgo. And we're in this full moon Virgo energy right now. We're moving right into her. And the thing is about Mercury, it's the planet of communication. So when it goes retrograde, it's like from the Earth's perspective, it appears to be going backwards, and it's infamous for causing issues with communication and with technology and that kind of energy. And so it's not unusual to not get the full story during this time. And it also brings up a lot of past issues if they're not resolved as of yet. So exes tend to come in, people from your life that you haven't spoken to for a long time for good reason, that kind of energy, they'll all of a sudden start showing up in your sphere again. And that's an important factor of this information. And then, of course, what comes up is this card for the first external force. Now, this external force energy, this 3 of Cups, these 3 people are celebrating, but they're not celebrating each other. They're not looking at each other. They're celebrating something that has happened here, an event. And in a lot of cultures, particularly in Europe, if you toast someone and you don't look them in the eye, it has 7 years of bad luck superstition attached to it. So when people in Europe, when you're toasting them, if you don't look them in the eye, they'll freak out on you. Look me in the eye. And so this energy, this is supposed to be talking about romantic love, and this is in your position of marriage, commitment, and partnerships. And we've got 3 people instead of 2, and we have them not looking at each other when they're toasting each other. So 7 years bad luck in your romantic life. This card is talking about gossip and slander, and possibly one of these people is the third party energy. That's the energy I'm picking up here. So, or like this could be representing even a relationship where there was an agreement to have a third party come into the relationship. Whatever, I'm not judging it, I'm just saying the chances of that working out are slim to none. It just usually doesn't work out. From my perspective, it's been very rare that I have seen people actually, they talk about it and it seems like, it could be a good solution, but in the end, it doesn't usually work. Two's company, three's a crowd, generally. And so the star energy is talking about stepping into your destined path. And so the energy here, this person is dipping their foot into the pool, the universal pool of life, pouring their own special, unique qualities into that pool, and then bringing that and pouring it out onto the earth. And it's going out in 5 different streams here. Those 5 streams represent the 5 points on the pentacles. Now, we don't have any energy of the pentacles here, which is kind of interesting because this is your reading and you haven't shown up in it. and the pentacles haven't shown up in it. And this is like the Capricorn energy is the most mature of all the element of the pentacle energy. So it's about bringing what you want down onto earth. So it feels like you're not in this star energy in this right here. And so this this energy, let's see what's going on here. This is your North Star, and this is when you're following your destined path. So it feels like you're off, but there's a transition happening here. This is secrets coming out, transitions, and major changes happening in your life right now. So this energy is shifting right now to bring you back into this Empress energy, which is where you need to be to really produce a lot on planet Earth. We have victory coming in here. This is external forces. So actions that you've taken or other people have taken have now put you in, you've overcome. I feel like, okay, yay, Capricorn, you've overcome this energy because you've made a decision now after receiving this information about your fishy love life. And this is talking about, there's people here that are recognizing you as a leader. Some of them look a little disgruntled, but they have to admit that, you know, you've been carrying a heavy burden and you've managed to produce through it. And you've been very balanced, and all the gossip and slander that's been said about you maybe is not as accurate as it appeared to be. That's the kind of energy. Walking away from the situation, it has, empowered you, and it's put you back in your energy of why you came onto the planet. And this is a card of victory. So these people have to admit, hey, you've got some really good leadership qualities. They might not like it, but they have. And look at the difference in the horse now. You see the difference here? This horse isn't even trying. This horse is like, I trust my rider. You can see that they're both they're working as a team, basically. And this, she's reining the horse in, but the horse isn't bucking or fighting it in any way, shape, or form. The horse is comfortable with her as a rider, as in comparison to this energy here. So this is the energy you're in now, and this is your higher learning. That you've learned from the situation, and learning to control your temper and rein in your emotions and not, get off track because of what's happening here. Or getting back on track, I think is more accurate. Whoops, here we go. Yeah, this energy here. This is talking about the Eight of Swords being really in a battle with yourself. This is a mental prison where you just can't see a way out. Like you feel like you're duty bound no matter what you do. It's like, it's like that feeling of, I need to look after myself right now, but I don't have the time or the energy because all this shift is happening and I've got to put my thoughts here and there. And I found out this energy and I'm trying to put these burdens down, but I don't know how to do it. And it's just feeling like overwhelmed with all the choices that you have to make and the decisions that you have to make once this information had come in. And now this is talking about, I feel like at one point there was way more water here. And you can see this person has their right foot forward and it's stepping on dry land now. And this energy, you still have your left foot in this is your more feminine energy. And it's still in a puddle here, but the puddle is very shallow. The water represents emotion in tarot. I'm not saying that your emotion is shallow, but that there's less emotion there. So I feel like you've worked through, of these 8 swords, you've worked through 7 of them. And now this is the one that this is you deciding, this is the action that I'm going to take. And the blindfold to come off and you can just walk out of it because you don't anymore feel duty bound after you heard what the information came in here about this situation that you're walking away from. And now look at, then the pentacles come in, because I was going to say, where's the pentacles? Capricorn, you're supposed to have lots of pentacles. Well, now you're the King of Pentacles. So this is blessings and the position of blessings and friendships, etc. coming through, like new relationships, new acquaintances, I feel like back in the Empress energy, basically. This is a more masculine energy now, though. We have the King of Pentacles coming in. So the King of Pentacles is someone that is highly respected, looked up to for their business acumen, someone that understands how to bring thoughts and down to earth and actually make them like matter, basically. And of course, a big part of the lifestyle that we have, if we want to have a good lifestyle, is having the money to do it. But you could have all the money in the world and still not have the lifestyle you want. So this is representing having the lifestyle, having the health, the wealth, the happiness, and the money to support all of it. And being out of this burdensome energy here. So this is talking like about someone, the King of Pentacles generally represents someone that is, highly respected in the business world. It could be a chief financial advisor of a corporation. It could be as high up as like the Minister of Finance of a country, that kind of energy. It could be some accountants and financial advisors, that type of energy. But it could be, if they would be a partner in a large firm, like someone who is very accomplished at that work. And then we have, it could be an entrepreneur that's just doing really well in business, that kind of energy. But it's about being able to bring that those pentacles in. And this is because you stood your ground. So you know what you know now, and this is the position that you're taking. And now that you know what you know, you have conviction beyond a doubt that there is no way that you are going to tolerate this energy here, and you've walked away from it, and you're moving forward now. And you're more in alignment now with your path. And you'll notice this person has one boot on one foot and one shoe on the other. Sometimes this can represent like this energy that we have right now in Iran. Like if, like you have to run out of your house and get into a bunker or something. And so you're in a hurry and you grab the wrong, you grab two different kinds of shoes. It also can represent being caught in between two different worlds. And you notice here, like this can be the energy of, the people here before arguing with your position, but you're willing to stand your ground, and you have conviction beyond a doubt. Now, if there is some illegal activity that's been done, and you actually are looking for justice from a court of law, I just am noticing a few cards here that could represent that. So, of course, the justice coming in. This is... where is it? Here. This can sometimes represent not just mental prison, but an actual physical prison, and conviction beyond a doubt. Like as in someone is, if someone outside has taken some of your money, maybe with the help of your former partner now, that you are on it. And you're looking into it, and you want justice, and you want your money back. And I was wondering, usually with Capricorn energy, we would see the pentacles all over the place, and it waited all this time for the pentacles to come in because you needed the justice for them to come in. So it could be representing something that's going on in a court of law, and people are talking about it. Basically, that's the energy. All right, so let's see. If you've enjoyed the reading up to now, and you feel, okay, this is good, I understand this, I gotta go. Give it a like and comment if you enjoyed the reading, if you got value from it. I would really appreciate it. It helps me to build my channel. Consider subscribing if you resonate. It would be my honor if you did so. So these are the cards wanting to come out here. This is for my oracle. Now, the energy that we're in right now with this, there's a few things that I want to talk about astrologically still here. Being this caught between two worlds energy. Remember I said that the full moon on the 3rd here, which is tomorrow, is in Virgo, but it's opposed by the Pisces energy. Neptune has been in Pisces energy, like in the sign of Pisces. The planet Neptune is a very large planet, so it takes a long time for it to move. And so it's been in the sign of Pisces for 14 years. And on the 26th of February, it moved into the, of January, it moved into the sign of Aries. Sorry, I had to think for a second there. And, you know, Pisces is the senior executive, the last sign in the zodiac, and Aries is a newborn baby energy. So, and Aries is actually is ruled by Mars. Mars is an aggressive planet. You think about really how aggressive a newborn baby has to be. When a baby comes in, like, they're totally helpless, and look what they learn in 1 year, and it comes naturally to them. So this is talking about like everything that you learned about how to approach business, how you people, you know, how you approach life in general with a more idealistic nature. Now, Pisces is actually ruled by Neptune and Saturn. And so that energy has moved out of the sign of Pisces into Aries. So Neptune was very comfortable in Pisces because it rules Pisces. And it was more idealistic, you know, things will work out, and, you know, we give people another chance kind of energy like that. But now in Aries, it's like loud and proud, basically, and it's like rammy. And, you know, you think about a baby coming into the world and they come in head first. And it's like that, you know, the glyph is that of a ram. And it's like my way, we're doing things my way. Like, you know, a little baby. It's amazing. They're so tiny and newborn, but they're loud, and they control the whole house. If you've ever had a baby, you'll notice that. Like, you want to make sure they're happy, and the way that they communicate is they cry. And so this is the energy now that Neptune is going to be in for 14 years in the sign of Aries instead. And so everything that you were doing in business and that, the way you approached people, more idealistic and gentle and more Piscean, now, and more emotional, now it's like fire. And it's like, get, you know, like it's, and think about like, oh, for the next 14 years, this baby growing up to be a teenager at the age of 14. That's kind of the energy that we're in for how to handle the major energies in our life. So that, therefore, being caught between these two worlds. Now, because Capricorn is also ruled by the planet Saturn, Saturn moved in just about a week or so ago into the energy of to join Neptune in Aries. And so Saturn's going to be hanging out in Aries for the next 2.5 years. So the two of them together, the Saturn energy is very deep, going like deep, really the things, the fundamental parts of us that we really need to look at. And it takes like 29 years for Saturn to make it around. Saturn's a very big planet. And so the Saturn energy is about digging deep. Who am I really? And every 28 to 29 years, you know, it ends up back where it was when you were born. And so generally around the ages of 28, 29, and then again around 54, 55, and then in your 80s. And if you live to be in your 100, you know, 100 and something, again then, it brings up anything that has been unfinished in the last 28 years. So it can be quite challenging. And Saturn is just challenging in general anyway. But for Capricorn, because you're ruled by that sign, it has a tendency to have quite an effect on you. So if you're feeling really kind of moody and like out of sorts with your energy, I mean, if you're in this situation, it's understandable, but it also recognize that this full moon coming in right now is an energy that is going to be for you. It could bring in some heavy emotions. Just don't go flying off the handle. If you find out some information about your partner, you do not want to be like freaking out and doing something that you really regret later. It's not good energy for doing that. It's a good time to rein it in. If you have to go and, you know, book a hotel room and just be there by yourself for a day, do that. Do what you have to do. We have this energy of justice is then, when this justice comes in, you'll be back to your normal self. Like you'll be on a foolhardy energy. So it's about having anticipation for the coming future, feeling like, oh, I'm finally back to myself again. Now I know what's happened, that kind of energy. We have the energy of Cancer here. So this is talking about the energy of the moon coming in, like this eclipse energy. And what's really interesting with this eclipse energy right now for March the 3rd, we had in 2007, we had very similar energy, like astrologically. And you can ask yourself, like, what was going on in 2007 on March 3rd, basically. The energy was almost identical. And when I looked into it, began this oracle. So the oracle I'm using here to clarify with is Tales from the Vector, Tails. And I do have a website, talesfromthevector.com. This energy, the numbers on the cards represent the paintings in the order that they're in. I started it in spring of 2007. So when I saw that, I was like, wow, that's really wild how close the energy, matches. And it really, I was like, I had a lot of fun doing this. It took me like 19 years to get to this point because I was teaching seminars and I was using them there, but I didn't have all the paintings done. And they're very large paintings, most of them. And they have crystals and dragons from the future. It's from the Intergalactic Federation of Light. And now that I have it, I finished the last painting. There were 64 of them in 2020, and now I'm getting ready to bring it out. And like on 2007, and on March 3rd, I was just starting it. So I found that really interesting, and I was looking into this a little bit more. And this energy of this second eclipse coming up, this moon now, in between this time, like between those two moons, in 1980. And so that might be a little bit too far back for some of you, but in 1980, your parents, what they were doing, what was going on in the world in general, that energy could be coming up. In 1980, I had left to go on a backpack trip. I was backpacking through Australia from Canada, and I had planned to go for 4 months. I had worked 3 jobs so that I could save up my money to go. And then I ended up staying for 1.5 years. Back then, the visas were way easier to deal with. And so if I left the country and came back in after 9 months, then I could have another 9 months on my visa. So I went to Bali, Indonesia, and I traveled. I was able to get work here and there, work in pubs. I groomed dogs for a living at that time, off and on. And so I was able to do that and stay in Australia, and I just loved it. And that really set my direction of wanting to be a world traveler. And so for the rest of the 80s, basically, I would work, 2 or 3 jobs, work constantly until I had enough money to go to the country that I wanted to go visit. I'd go and I'd stay as long as I could and absorb the energy of the culture, etc. And then I would leave and come back home and work some more so that I could go again. And I did that probably for a good 8 years. Then in 1988, the energy was again very similar to this energy. And that was the last year that I was single, because by 1990, I was married and had a baby. So this is this is the energy that kind of we're in. Then when I looked further into it, when Iran has been under the rule of Gaddafi since 1979. And so this energy is very close to this energy of the spring of 1980. And now we see what's happening with that energy on a world, more of a global point of view. And interestingly enough, in 2007, around this same time was the first time, like with the Epstein files out, this is the first time we heard about Pizzagate. And it was like a lot of people, that's when it first started coming up, where the FBI said, oh, there's these symbols and, all of this energy. But it was kind of like whatever, no one really paid that much attention to it back then. That's the energy that we're in an eclipse season. And you have to understand that when we're in an eclipse season, we sometimes will pay attention to one specific part of our life that is really generally the weakest part that we need to work on, which is good, but we don't always have the big picture because we're so hyper-focused on that one area. And that's why I'm saying it's really important, because this is a very powerful energy with Saturn and Neptune involved for the whole planet, and we're seeing it being played out before our eyes right now. We have this energy of the Hierophant coming in. So the Hierophant is about traditional structure, bringing in justice from the spiritual realm down to the physical. The Hierophant has his right hand in the form of a blessing, saying that this is a blessing for people to be able to have this energy in, to have this justice and have the truth come out so that we can make the changes that we need to make. This is saying, look at this. This is saying, like, once this is dealt with, basically, that you will be back in your Empress energy. We have the sign of Pisces coming out. I just want to point out, when the cards come out in the horoscope energy, in particular signs, I'm not talking about particular people. I'm talking about the energy of that sign. We all have a little bit of each sign in us, and so we can learn from the energy of that. And so this is talking about how important the moon is at this time. Pisces energy, I just talked about that. So it's having a big effect with it being the opposing of the Virgo, and also the Saturn and Neptune energy. And so that's coming out here. We also have falling and failing in love is a matter of eye. So this is talking about your heart chakra and being able to put those burdens down so that you can get back into your own energy. We have disruption. Yeah, what's fun for some is not fun for everyone. So I feel like there definitely was some sort of energy where your partner was disrupting your life by stepping out. And maybe even being involved with other people here, causing you to lose money and lose your lifestyle, basically. We have the Gemini energy coming in. So Gemini is the third sign out in the horoscope, and this is talking about being at the stage of when you go to kindergarten. And again, this is also ruled by Mercury, and so is Virgo. So this energy, it's saying again, make sure you're balanced in your decisions. Make sure you have all the correct information before you take action, basically. You know, when we first go to kindergarten, that's when we realize, hey, our family is very different from some of these other kids' families. And then you find out, that's when you start to realize that, you know, life can be very different from your life at home, and because you're going to school every day with other kids who live differently than you. And we have the Pride coming in. This is a karmic space where you might, your partner might be trying to persuade you, P-E-U-R-R, sorry, Pearl, or Estelle. I called her my old cat's name, that's weird. But so this is, you know, the pride before the fall kind of energy. Don't let your pride get in the way of making strong choices, you know, that you need to make. We have also the karmic space of jealousy. So this is talking about an energy here of people being jealous because they thought you were in this Empress energy and they wanted that. That's the kind of energy we're here. And so they were kind of like, look at that. They, you know, now they're down and out, kind of like that kind of energy. I'm sort of happy to see your friends are not as friendly as you thought they were. Intentions. So this is that being in a transition of your intentions. So the road to hell is paved with good intentions. You could have all the best intentions in the world, and even some of your friends could have the best intentions. Maybe they didn't want to tell you what was going on because they didn't want to hurt your feelings. Like, you know, thanks, but no thanks. Like, I really would have preferred to know what the hell was going on in my life because it was causing a lot of problems. That's when you realize, okay, I need to step back into my true energy and get back into making my beautiful garden here. This energy here. We have the energy of Libra coming in. So this could actually be saying that on some level, you just weren't mature enough to make this decision at that point, or your partner wasn't. Libra represents like the scales of justice, but it also represents being mature enough to make you know, commitments, and particularly in marriage, about who you have children with and that kind of energy. We have the Virgo energy coming in, and look at it's right across the wheel here opposing the Pisces energy, just like this full moon is. And this full moon, I mean, I've been feeling this energy. So if you're feeling like kind of emotional and angry one minute and then, you know, weepy or whatever, that's that volatile energy that's coming in from that back and forth about looking after your own needs and then having to look after, you know, all the responsibilities in life. We have the Taurus. Yes, so this is, Taurus is the baby of the energy of the Pentacles. So the Capricorn energy is the most senior. Virgo is like the in-between. And so this is saying, like, now you're back. You're not like a toddler. You understand the give and take of life. You're an authority. You're in your authority again. Capricorn energy gets shift done because it's very disciplined, consistent steps of action towards your goal. And I feel like you're back in this. And look at it. It's right across from this Empress energy. And then we have harmony. Yay. So this is about like the truth coming out, you being able to speak your truth and acknowledging that you're taking a stand, and this is the position. It's also has the year 26 here. I feel that 2026 will be a better year for you than 2025 was, and perhaps even the decade leading up to 2026. So I do hope you've enjoyed this reading, Capricorn. Please do give it a like and comment if you receive value from it. I've learned a lot here, and I feel like it's really, you know, it's life. It's not like the most fun reading, but it is really good advice. And consider subscribing if you resonate with the energy of the channel. And I will be back with another reading for you for mid-March. Bye for now. Oh.